Tonight, a legacy of a lifetime. Queen Elizabeth dies aged 96. We look back on her extraordinary life. Her Majesty, no stranger to the Spencer Golf.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. The world is in mourning following the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Her Royal Highness passed away at Balmoral peacefully, surrounded by her family. Reporter Daniel Pizarro begins our coverage on this momentous occasion.
For her entire life, she carried out her duties to the monarchy and was wholly devoted to her people. Queen Elizabeth II passed away on Wednesday at Balmoral at the age of 96, following a reign of 70 years, and the world is in shock. Flags are now at half-mast, and the state government announced condolence books are available for the public to sign. Around the Spencer Golf, the mayors paid tribute to a remarkable woman.
It's sad that she's passed, but she lived a good life, 96, and she was a great leader, not only for the UK, assisting Australia, but the whole world. Very strong woman, and I'm sure everybody's very proud of her in the royal family.
She always held herself with dignity, and she was interested in the common folk as well as the leaders of the world. And she had the capacity to be able to talk to people across that whole spectrum, and she did it in a dignified manner.
It was only the other day we were watching on television welcoming another Prime Minister, and I thought, she did have a walking stick and all that sort of stuff, and I thought she looked frail, but she was still there. And then to get up this morning and find that she's gone, it's a very solemn moment, because somebody of that calibre that's led with example that she has done, it's going to be very difficult to replace.
I suppose when you get to 96, it was only a matter of time, but it's always a loss, no matter how old people are.
Flinders Ranges Council Mayor Greg Flint saw the Queen when he was a boy.
Yes, I certainly did. I was at Renmark at the time with the school, and we all went down to the Oval. Of course, it was lots of pomp and ceremony, and it was quite exciting.
Governor-General David Hurley rushed back to Canberra from Adelaide and reflected on Her Majesty's duty and service.
As our Queen, she served our nation with distinction for more than 70 years. When I reflect on my own memories, and she was my Queen for my entire life, I think of Her Majesty's dignity and her compassion, her dedication and her work ethic, and her selfless and unwavering commitment to those to whom she served, to us.
For many of us here in the Spencer Golf, Queen Elizabeth was the only monarch we ever knew. She visited Australia 16 times, had great fondness for the people, and Australians responded in kind. She will be sorely missed. Now a new era with King Charles III begins. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The Queen was just a young woman when she first toured our region more than 68 years ago. But with her impact being so powerful, it's something no one has ever been able to forget. Edward McCarroll takes us through her time spent here in the Spencer Golf.
As word of Queen Elizabeth's passing rings out across the world, today locals remember the fonder times when Her Majesty flew across the world to visit our region. After the 27-year-old sailed into Sydney Harbour on the 3rd of February 1954, she travelled west into the bush to visit Broken Hill. Alive with excitement, the city adorned their buildings and Union Jacks to welcome their Queen.
Yeah, great memories, and of course when you look at the film and you see her at North Park, which of course is now named after her, Queen Elizabeth Park.
The Spencer Golf shortly exploded into excitement, learning Her Majesty would travel to the booming steel city of Whyalla. Locals spilling onto the streets and at the gates of Memorial Oval, just to catch a glimpse of royalty. Many who were there on the day have still held on to their flags and banners they held so proudly.
I remember going up to the Oval very early in the morning to get a nice place to see the Queen. Lots of children on the Oval, I remember them marching around waiting for the Queen to come, and she was rather late. And we
had a big cast iron loudspeakers at the Memorial Oval, and everybody held their breaths. It was like when you're a child, you don't understand what people are talking about, but you pick up vibes. and everybody just held their breath. It was absolutely riveting when the Queen actually spoke.
Port Lincoln, also one of the 57 other cities she visited during her 58-day tour of Australia. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip returned to Whyalla in 1986 to roaring crowds at the Whyalla airport and a fitting welcome from some of the city's steelworkers. The monarch toured the city to see the then revamped Whyalla foreshore, before ascending Hummock Hill where she unveiled this plaque to commemorate her visit. With such rich history, today only a short drive around each of our region's towns will reveal countless buildings and landmarks dedicated to the Queen, like here on Hummock Hill with Queen Elizabeth's Drive. As such a significant part of our region's history, churches, community groups and sporting clubs are already organising ways to honour the Queen's lifelong service. Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Understandably, Her Majesty's passing has left many Spencer Golf residents wondering what happens next in terms of sport and weekend activities. Reporter Henry Millick has more.
Good evening, Maddie. Well, at this stage, community events like sport are still set to go ahead this weekend as planned. However, leagues across the Spencer Gulf will most likely pay their respects to Her Majesty the Queen. Port Lincoln Mayor Brad Flaherty understands officials will abide by any rules the governing AFL body throws at them.
Well, at this stage, I don't think that there's any change to sporting fixtures because they're pretty well locked in with the SANFL. But knowing the Port Lincoln Football League like I do, I would expect that they'll have some sort of sign of respect.
Despite Her Majesty's death sending shockwaves across the globe, community events are still set to go ahead this weekend. The show will go on in the Silver City with the Broken Hill Festival to continue tonight and into tomorrow, while flags will continue to be flown at half-mast as the community pays their respect.
Keeping the lights on the trees purple, which is significant to her and her realm. What we're also doing is we'll be flying the flags at half-mast for about the next 15 or 16 days until her funeral.
As for each individual sporting game this weekend, I'm sure they'll follow all protocols deemed necessary, paying respects to their much-loved Queen.
Much loved indeed, and thank you to our reporters for putting those stories together. Truly a day none of us will forget. May Her Majesty rest in peace. Still to come tonight, we bring you the day's other news, including why Port Augusta's alcohol restrictions will be impacting Whyalla, and Port Pirie's Italian community keeping traditions alive. Welcome back. Whyalla residents have been sucked into Port Augusta's orbit, with the Liquor and Gambling Commissioner enacting alcohol restrictions in the Still City from Monday. The rule change shaking up the way everyone buys their booze.
Doubling down to stamp out bad behaviour. Restrictions on the sale of takeaway liquor currently present in Port Augusta will be expanded to Whyalla as of Monday, September 12. With local bottle shops agreeing to voluntary limit purchases.
So those limits are either 1 cask per person per day or 2 bottles of spirits per person per day, or a combination. So you could buy 1 cask and 1 bottle of spirits per person per day.
The Liquor and Gambling Commissioner says the move hopes to address concerns about people who are travelling from Port Augusta to Whyalla to bypass the restrictions and buy alcohol.
Seeing transactions of 5 and 10 casks at a time, or buying significant volumes of alcohol, and the concern is that is then making its way back into Port Augusta or being consumed in excess or going back into dry communities.
The Commissioner says the situation has deteriorated to a point that he has received reports of customers trying to buy a shop's entire cask wine stock in Whyalla.
There has been increases in things like theft of alcohol and increases in a level of antisocial behaviour, but not to the same level that we've been dealing with from a Port Augusta point of view. But again, it's trying to address both.
The Commissioner says they are working closely with local liquor store owners to monitor the region for improvements in both cities. Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Southern Launch expanded their operations in Kaniba last week, holding a launch campaign to test new technology and systems. The space company getting the local Indigenous community involved, with one local artist designing the mission patch for the test range. The community also assisting in ground operations.
They were heavily involved in not only the setup of the site, but also then once again in staffing roadblocks or checkpoints and providing catering for the teams. They'll be helping us later today as we start to undo the entire site.
The team successfully deployed the range over several days, bringing new equipment on the site to improve communications. Port Pirie's strong Italian roots date back to the 19th century, when a few fishermen from the town of Molfetta set sail with Australia in their sights. The event still celebrated to this day.
The Italian community in Port Pirie continue to keep traditions alive, to honour the generations who came before them.
So being a port, they resided here and to start a new life, because life wasn't too good over in Italy at the time.
The blessing of the fleet ceremony was brought to Port Pirie by those who migrated, as it was a tradition in Molfetta, and it has been taking place in Port Pirie ever since 1929. It's an event the community looks forward to every year.
From the cathedral, St Mark's Cathedral, will be bringing the Madonna down to the boat ramp. We'll pay our respects to those gone before us, and then we'll put the Madonna on a boat and take her around the harbour.
Tomorrow, hundreds of people will gather here at the boat ramp to witness the blessing of the Madonna statue, and everyone is encouraged to come along.
This is not just an Italian event. This is a Catholic-based event which is promoted by the church.
Those who have a boat are welcome to bring them down to the harbour to be blessed for a good, prosperous year of fishing and safe returns. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. The 19-year-old male medallist kicking goals for the Roosters. And suicide prevention advocates walk out of the shadows to help reduce the stigma around mental health issues. Welcome back. Port Lincoln has crowned the 2022 male medallist ahead of this weekend's preliminary finals. Young gun Billy Habig took out the prestigious award after polling an impressive 21 votes.
It's country football's highest accolade. Now the 19-year-old from the Tasman Football Club has etched his name in the history books, a feat he has been striving for this season.
No, it was unreal. Was planning on it this year, big season come back from Adelaide, and really happy, but it's all about the team. It's team success as well.
Billy Habig returning to Port Lincoln this year after playing some good footy in the SANFL representing Norwood.
Came back this year and learned a lot from Norwood last year. Just the right positions and where and when to be. I love playing in the middle and then resting up forward, kick a couple goals, so it's always good.
Runners-up in the count was Marble Range duo Tynan Keeley and Daniel Minnie. However, the night was about the young rooster, also picking up the Best Under-21 Player Award. Billy crediting the team and his coaches.
Yeah, 100%. Captain Tick Jenner and coaches Josh and Jace done a lot for me this year, and it's just a great chemistry around the club. All the boys love each other, and it's a team award, not just an individual award.
But the job isn't finished yet, with Tasman's taking on Lincoln South in the preliminary final this weekend. The male medalist hopeful his side can get over the line and win it all.
Yeah, the team success this year has been unreal. Obviously a big game against South this week, and hopefully we can knock them off and win that flag.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
As the old saying goes, whatever the weather, the Posty delivers, and that certainly rings true in Port Augusta. The annual Posty bike ride is currently running through the Spencer Gulf, raising money for the Cancer Council.
Almost 100 bikes roared into life on Thursday morning in a soggy Port Augusta as this year's Apex Outback Bike Ride got underway. The riders on top of their Posty bikes heading to Kimber as they raise money for a noble cause.
We've got 94 this year, which we're really excited about, and everybody's been raising money for a fantastic cause. All our money this year is going to the Cancer Council.
The route was altered due to a number of road and property closures in the wake of Wednesday's freak storms.
We're going to have to go on the bitumen, which is something that we try to avoid. So we'll head up on the bitumen to Iron Knob, and then we're hoping to go through some private country from there.
Cancer Council SA delighted with the donations raised so far.
They've raised over $100,000 this year so far for the Posty Run, which is raising money to go towards the integrated cancer building on 202 Green Hill Road in Adelaide.
The money going to a vital piece of well-being for cancer patients from regional South Australia.
So if somebody lives in regional South Australia, they do need to come to Adelaide to undertake their treatment. That could be 6 weeks. And what we do at Cancer Council is provide that home away from home, provide them accommodation, transport to treatment, social workers and counsellors, trying to make it just that little bit easier for them as they go through their treatment.
The ride ends on Sunday. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Lifeline Broken Hill Country to Coast is shining a light on suicide stigma through its Out of the Shadows campaign, which includes a new platform where it's easier to talk about difficult things.
Walking out of the shadows and into the light. Locals in Broken Hill woke early this morning, walking from the Lifeline office on Argent Street down to the YMCA on Chloride Street.
Just a good reminder of the work that Lifeline does, but also the support that we get through communities and the continued effort that we need to put into to have an Australia free of suicide.
People braving the chilly morning air, and the organisation was happy to see so many there.
Whether it's regional New South Wales or South Australia, we get a tremendous amount of support, so it's just no surprises that the community once again has come out and supported us.
Lifeline receives over 3,000 calls each day. Since COVID impacted Australia, the charity has experienced a 44% growth in service demand.
It's been going for some time now, and with the pandemic and the impacts of the pandemic, it's really good for communities now to be able to come together again. Connection is important.
Reverend Helen Ferguson said that it was lovely to see people turn out for the walk.
The important thing is if we notice someone is struggling with something, that we at least put our arm around them and just acknowledge them in some way.
If you or someone you know is struggling, contact Lifeline on 131114. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A big trip for a small car. Car enthusiast John Everett is travelling from New South Wales to Western Australia in a Model A Ford for the Lake Perkalilly Red Dust Revival, and made a pit stop at Port Pirie Car Museum.
Weather gods have been nice, bar today, but other than that, a little bit of rain here and there, but dress appropriately, stay dry.
John looks forward to showing off his unique car at the event. Stay with us after the break. We preview the football being played this weekend, and we'll bring you the weekend weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. The footy is looking to play on as normal this weekend. Here's who our experts are backing.
Hello and welcome to the second week of finals in SGL football. All roads lead to Port Augusta this weekend for the preliminary final between South and Solomon Town. Solies would have been disappointed last week with their effort against Lions and we're looking to bounce back this week against arch rival South. South made hard work of it last week, trailing Ports for 3 quarters to eventually run out winners in the end. This game should be a beauty and could go either way. I'm going to tip Solies in a close one.
It's preliminary final time here in Whyalla football. Waroona Bay have won through to another grand final, leaving Rapina to play Central Whyalla on Saturday afternoon at Bennett Oval. Roos have been amazing this year after a couple of lean seasons under new coach Waylon Nielsen. They've now got a chance to play in the big dance. Both teams have got some very fast young players who are really going to thrive on Bennett Oval, particularly at this time of year. But I've got a feeling it's going to be the experience and the hardened finals players of Central Whyalla, some of them with grand final wins under their belt, who'll just have enough experience and talent to sneak across the line in what will be a very close preliminary final.
Welcome to Port Lincoln Footy Tips and the prelim final. First of all, I want to congratulate everyone that polled at the male medal.
And a big congratulations to young Billy Habig, just 19, and took out the male medal for the Port Lincoln Footy League. Congratulations. This week we got Tasman's hosting Lincoln South. Tasman's got caught off guard last week, and Marble Range kicked 5 unanswered goals to start the game. They're going to have to come out firing. Lincoln South are looking mighty fine after their win against Waybacks. This game I would have said Tasman should win this, but the way each team are playing, this is up in the air. I'm going to tip Tassies, but only by 2 goals.
Grand final just around the corner. Good luck, everyone. Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, it's been a sombre day, but how's the weekend looking?
Sombre indeed, Maddie, a really sad day, but a testament to just how much she was loved right around the world. And Maddie, the weekend is looking partly cloudy, thanks for asking. Looking at today's weather first, 21 degrees in Port Augusta this afternoon, 16 in Port Lincoln, Broken Hill reached a top of 17. Elsewhere, 20 degrees in Cooper Pedy, 19 in Whyalla, 17 in Port Pirie. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a low pressure system south of Mount Gambier is moving southeastwards with a high pressure system to develop near the Bight tomorrow morning. A weak front will move over southern districts on Sunday. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. South to southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas around a metre, and south to southwesterly swell 1 to 2 metres. Cloudy and 16 in Port Lincoln and Cleve tomorrow. Woodnor cloudy and set to reach a top of 18 degrees there. Partly cloudy and 17 in Whyalla. Port Augusta partly cloudy, top of 19, 16 in Kadina. Early showers in Port Pirie 17 and partly cloudy and 18 in Broken Hill for the Broken Hill festivities. Taking a look further through the week now, possible showers in Cooper Pedy on Sunday 19 in Broken Hill as well, partly cloudy, 17 in Whyalla. Moving on to Monday's outlook now, partly cloudy, 21 in Port Augusta, 19 in Broken Hill and Port Pirie, possible showers in Port Lincoln 15. And a quick look at how Tuesday is shaping up, and it'll be a fair bit warmer up north, partly cloudy conditions south of Cooper Pedy, 26 in Port Augusta, 25 in Woodnor, 23 in Port Pirie. And that's all the weather from me for tonight, Maddie. I'll see you soon with an update. It's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Friday, September 9, 2022, the day the Queen passed away. I'm Madeline Kerr, but from all of us here, thanks so much for joining us for this special bulletin. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening and your weekend. Good night.